Hi, this is Lindsay and welcome back to my channel. So we are starting in on our February junk journal project with me, which the theme this month is mixed media. To me, mixed media means anything goes. It means, do you have paints? Use them. Do you have ink pads? Use them. Do you have buttons? Use them. Do you have fabric? Use it. Do you have book pages? Use it. It doesn't matter. A lot of times I think we think of mixed media a lot with paints and stencils and things like that, and while that is true, I think all of us who make junk journals are very used to mixed media in our own way. We might not use a lot of paint, but I think it's fun when we incorporate that. But we use a lot of mixed media. We use paper and lace and ribbon and stamps and inks and metal pieces and all of that. But in this month, what we're going to be doing is bringing a few of the traditional mixed media things into a journal. So we will be using things like acrylic paints and ink pads and things like that. So if you have purchased your kit, I have a kit available. This is part one, so that's why I'm talking about this. I have a kit available with all of the basics that you will need to make this journal along with me over the next, I think there's 6 episodes total to make this mixed media journal. And if you've already purchased it through my shop, pull it out because we're going to get right into it in a minute. And if you have not purchased it yet, you can click the link below. Go to my shop. It's on sale right now. You can purchase it and I will get it out to you in a few days. And you can just save this video to watch later, and then you can craft right along with me. If you would prefer not to buy the kit, then you can use things that are in your own studio that are similar to what I have here. There are a few special things that you may not have. Specifically, I have some jelly printed, using a jelly print plate, some jelly printed pages that are included in the kit, and they're vintage acrylics. They're acrylics from like the 80s when my grandma did acrylics. I think it's like 80s, 90s, something like that, when she did acrylic painting. So it leaves a really interesting colors and textures and things like that. So there's a couple special things like that. But let's get right into the first part. And we're going to do button flowers. I know lots of you like my button flowers. I've put them in my shop. They always sell out. And I thought it would be really neat to do a tutorial on it. And if you purchase the kit, you would have gotten everything you need to make 3 button flowers, and we're going to be using those on the cover of our journal. That's why we're making these first. I have this punch right here. It is an old EK Success. I have no idea where it came from. Somebody gave it to me, and I don't know where they got it. I think it's quite old, but this is the one I've been using because I love stacking them in 3s. So I don't know if you have one like this, or if you can get one like this, or any type of flower that you can stack. And you could even use different sizes and stack them up. But this is the one that I use to punch out the flowers for your kit, and what I'm going to be using to show you. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this camera around so that I can show you my workspace and we can get right into it. Okay, so the camera is flipped around and here's my workspace, and I've started punching out my flowers here. And if you received the kit, you will have 9 flowers because we're going to stack them 3, 3, and 3. So I just picked out some coordinating papers here, but I don't always do that. Sometimes I just get my scrap bin and I just punch. And that's another really good way to do intentional crafting. That's what I was talking about on my channel yesterday, is going through everything that's overflowing and making something with it. Sometimes I like to take these, like my scrap bin. Here, I'll show you. Here's one of them. I have multiple ones, but here's one. And I'll grab this and I'll take it in with me to my bedroom at night while I'm watching TV before I go to bed. And I'll just take a punch like this, and I'll just punch and punch and punch and punch till my hand is sore. And I'll go through a whole bunch of this and, you know, make room for more scraps. So, okay, so I'm going to punch out 3 from each one, but you don't, you know, totally up to you what you want to do. There we go. Okay, so You can either make them all the same and have all of these the same bottom and then middle and then top, or you can switch it up. I like to switch it up so that each one looks different. So I have some glue here, and this is some Tombow liquid glue here. And I actually suggest using hot glue just because you can work faster, but this works better for my video. So just a little dot of glue in the middle, and then you're going to choose another one and just lay it on top, but kind of turned askew. And then the final one, and then you just kind of turn that one too so you can see all 3 levels of petals coming through. And since we used this on the bottom, we're going to use a different one on the bottom this time. And then we're just going to change it up. Again, glue and top. And the last one, I think this one has not been on the bottom yet. I wound up with, yeah, wasn't paying attention, but that's fine. I wound up with 2 tops like this, but they still all look different. And once we put the buttons on, they will definitely look different. So step 2 is to take an ink pad. And I'm just using this Ranger Cocoa dye ink, all-purpose stamping pad, and you just flick the edges, I like to say flick, but you just ink the edges and all the way around. I like to give it that finished and vintage look. And you could use any color. I like using greens and oranges as well, but I chose brown for this set. And then you take your buttons and you can go ahead and just glue them on as is, like so, or you can sew them on, and I'm going to show you my sewing hack. So let me see if I can zoom in just a little bit more here. Hopefully we're focused. Okay, so I have a piece of number 10 crochet thread, but embroidery thread, any kind of thread that you want, and I just stitch the button before I put it on, because if you're trying to stitch through all the layers of paper, it's going to take a long time and it's going to be frustrating. But this is super fast, and I know I've showed this on my channel before, but I don't remember what videos and how long ago it was. And then I just do 1 or 2 knots. I'll do 2 knots here. If I'm using hot glue, I just do 1 knot because the hot glue holds it. But since I am using the Tombow glue and it takes a little longer to dry, I'm going to do it this way. So I'll grab a pair of scissors, and I'm just going to snip close to the knot, and then a little bit of glue on there, and glue it right on. And so the other 2 we are not going to sew. We're just going to put on so you can see how they look both ways. There. So this one is sewn. And I like, when you're choosing your papers, you see how this one has like glitter accents to it? If you use foiled and glittered accents, then that really adds a whole lot too. Here's this one. And then also, if you change up the size buttons, see, like this is a bigger button in the middle, and this one is a smaller button. That changes the look as well. And I love to, every time I make these, I either sell out, or if I make them for my own personal stash, I use them up and they're gone in no time. They're so much fun to make, to use up your scraps. And what's really nice too, and you can consider this when making junk journals, when you are cutting down 12 by 12 paper pads and cutting down the paper to fit your journal, and you wind up with those long strips like these are cut-offs. If the journal I was making, I used these papers in, I can make button flowers from that, and it will coordinate beautifully with my journal. So that's another thought as well. And another thing you can think about is you don't have to put buttons in the middle. I'm going to show you a couple other things that you could put in the middle to really change it up so that you get a whole different look. So you could use these adhesive flat back pearls, or any kind of rhinestones and put them in the middle, and that is an extremely delicate look. I have a light pink and like a pearl color here, or you can use any type of little flat back doodad, doohickey, whatever. Any kind of little flat back. You can get stuff like this at Michael's and Hobby Lobby, but this is a little flower. So you could put a little flower in the middle and that would be adorable. And I even like it over the top of this brass button because that gives even more dimension. So I hope that you enjoyed part 1 of the Mixed Media Journal, and I'm going to be creating a playlist as this goes, so when part 2 comes up, part 1 and 2 will already be in the playlist so you can find them all in order. Please check out my shop link below and purchase the kit if you have not already so that you can follow along. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.